first take us through the litmus test. How did the Mets stack up against the Dodgers?
What's up, fellas? Thanks for having me. Todd, Grazie.
Hey there.
Man, what a great series, and it's always fun when you're matching up against one of the best teams in the league, the worst series champs, and to go to LA and to be able to compete against them, like I said, for 4 days, it was pretty intense. And when I say what, 3 out of those 4 games were decided by one run, and it was a lot of back and forth, and yeah, it was pretty fun.
Mandy, what does that look like going into the series? Do you sit there and I know you don't do as much advanced stuff as you used to, but do you sit there and go over the advanced stuff, looking at it, and you go, this is a tough matchup. This is a good team. And how do you convey, hey, you guys are better than them, because they have a lot of glitz and glamour. They have diamonds that are shiny at the top of that lineup.
Yeah, when you're going through and we do go through all the scouting reports and we do a lot of advancing and all that. And at the top, that lineup is pretty impressive. I don't think there's a soft spot there. People talk about the first 3 hitters of that lineup, but what's behind it with Will Smith, Teoscar, Muncy, who he's on fire right now, and then you got a Pajes swinging the bat the way he's swinging, like there's not a soft spot there. And when you're trying to go through, okay, which guy's not gonna beat me? That's a tough one there. Because we don't pitch to Otani, then you got Mookie. Well, pitch to Mookie, then you got Freddie, and he goes on and on and on. So I think it just comes down to sticking to your strength. Knowing what we do well as a team, how we are going to attack certain guys, and the situation of the game will dictate some of the adjustments that we'll make. So tough lineup, but proud of the way we play against them.
Forget about the Dodgers, man. Let's stay in the East. The Mets are doing it, baby. Forget about it. We don't need no reports. The Mets are doing really good. I got to give credit to Jeremy Hefner, man. I mean, talk a little bit about the pitching, and you looked on paper, you're like, they'll be okay, but these guys have been doing it, man. Give him a little credit and talk about where you guys are at with your pitching staff right now.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up his name, Todd, because he's been unbelievable. It is a blessing for me to have that type of guy, as a pitching coach, leading the pitching department. But he's so good at connecting with people, meeting players where they at, just getting to know the player as person, as the human first. Yes, Hef brings a lot to the table because, he play at the highest level. He play in the big leagues. He struggled. He was hurt a lot. So he knows what players are at. And the biggest thing for him is, he recognized how much to give a player. Like there's players that want a lot of information. There's players that want the very minimum. And he recognized that very quickly. He uses all the resources. We have a great group on our pitching department. Desi Druschel, who came over from the Yankees, Jose Rosado as our bullpen coach, and then the whole front office group. They work well together. And but Hef, man, like I said, his ability to connect, his ability to communicate, to filter the information, and his ability to make adjustments in games. Because we all know that you could have a perfect game plan. It's never going to be perfect. You got to be able to go in and adjust, read swing. What are the hitters are trying to do? Because we put together a game plan, but they got a game plan as well. So, and I feel like those conversations in between innings with the catcher, with the starters, when a reliever comes in, he's been phenomenal.
Mendy, I know when you were with the Yankees, you saw this all the time. A reliever comes through to the Bronx, and all of a sudden, a similar story happens, right? They unlock something. And you've seen this, I think, even more amplified with the Mets now. So I'm curious, are you surprised at how many pitchers that your pitching development department, everybody else involved, has been able to take to the next level? And also, I just want to shout out David Stearns in the front office. How do they play into this equation too, in terms of who they're looking for, and even conversations that might start before they get to camp or get to the team about what they think they can unlock that they haven't seen from them yet?
Yeah, it's a group effort, and it starts with David and his team in the front office. Identifying talent and how can we unlock certain pitches and adjust repertoire, but then getting the buy-in from the coaches and then the players. Putting it together at the end of the day. I feel like is a really good system that we got in place here. Everybody, like I said, working together, and it's kind of like a two-way street. Okay, we are presenting ideas, front office present ideas to the coaching staff presenting it to the players, because that's the key too. Like, how are you going to present information to the players? Because they're the ones competing, they're the ones that got to go out there and execute. So just bringing in the talent, how can we make those guys better, and then just making those guys believe that they're good at what they do. And again, it's exciting to see it happening in front of your eyes. With the Yankees, I saw it as well. They do a really good job of unlocking certain pitches and individuals out of nowhere. And I feel like we're doing a really good job of that. There's a lot of examples, but again, I think it comes down to players going out there and executing. I don't think there's a secret sauce. I don't think there's magic to it. I think it's just keeping things simple, meeting where players are at, and just trusting it.
Mandy, there is a secret sauce. It's fundamentals. Half of fundamentals are fun, and the other half are mentals. Fundamentals. You guys look like you were having a lot of fun on the bench the other day. Acuna had, he had the mask on. They were, the boys were yucking it up at the end of the dugout. Do you let that happen? You came from a very buttoned up, everything together kind of dugout in New York with the Yankees, and then you see something like that going on at the end of your dugout against the second best team in the National League. Do you feel like you have to step in and be like, guys, maybe not now, we're kind of beating the brakes off the Dodgers? Or is that something that if you're losing 6-1 or you're winning 6-1, you still want those guys to do that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I want the players to be themselves. We're gonna respect the game. We're gonna respect the opponents and all that. But again, I mean, it's a game, man, and people forget at times and take it too serious. Yes, we're, like I said, respect comes number one, right? We're not trying to show anybody off here. We're just I just encourage our players to have fun, to be themselves. It comes down to creating an environment where people are allowed to be themselves. But yes, there's a way to go about your business. There's a wave of preparation, and then we got to go out there and compete. In the meantime, we're gonna keep it fun. I thought when I was with the Yankees, it got towards the end, and I got to give credit to Aaron Boone, because he kind of like allowed those players to be themselves as well, and I learned a lot from that. And now here with the Mets, it's the same. Like, let the players be themselves. Yes, understanding we got business to take care, but just creating a positive environment where they're loose, they're having fun. But in the meantime, we're gonna respect, and we're gonna go out there and we're gonna compete.
Chat BCC, Sean Michael, one of our members and fans, asked, good question here about Soto. How good is it to see the Soto Shuffle back in business? So that means he's working a little more now. Talk to me a little about that shuffle. Is that a good thing or bad thing?
Yeah, no, we all love it. I think it's part of the show. It's part of the Juan Soto deal. But I think when he's not feeling his swing, when he's not feeling like, man, I'm getting pitches here and I'm not missing, then I don't think the shuffle will come. And he's been saying it, like, it'll come naturally. I'm glad that I think it was the second or the third game that he was locked in. Every pitch he took, and then you see the conviction on his swing and the balance on his finish, and we started to see some results, because I feel like he's been, well, I mean, the numbers not gonna lie, but the guy's been so unlucky, But it's just good to see Juan being Juan Soto, doing his thing, and just kind of yell with the guys there in the clubhouse.
How about Lindor's pinky toe? Is that something that you are going to have to? It feels so like, oh, it's pinky toe, it must be okay. A broken toe sucks, but he's willing to play through it. Is that something as manager? Are you like, do you watch to see how much he's limping on it and maybe give him the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning? Oh, wait, no, he plays shortstop for your team. You can't give your shortstop a day off.
Yeah, no, and with Francisco, man, it's a challenge because he never wants to come out of the lineup. Like to give him a day off is almost impossible. Even that day when he gets hit on that first inning, we kept checking because he was limping pretty bad. And pretty much every inning, I was going up to him. The trainers were going. I was like, I'm not coming out of the game. I mean, we can take a look at him after the game. I'm fine. I'll play through it. I'm hurting, but I'm gonna play. And then we took the X-rays and it shows that fracture, right? But the doctors are saying just pain tolerance here. And we're on the way back to the hotel on the bus, and he's like, wait till tomorrow. Don't send that lineup yet. Give me a chance. Like he's fighting to be in the lineup the next day. Again, it's gonna be a day-to-day thing. It's not easy for him to be in the lineup. And honestly, I don't enjoy having Francisco in the dugout for 9 innings, man. Like he's doing a lot of different things. Like he's driving himself crazy there. So hopefully he's a player for us either today or in the next couple of days.
Mendy, I've got a question for you on Francisco Alvarez. I'm a big fan. I mean, I think one day in the game he could be a 35 plus homer guy. He's still so young. I know he does a great job with the pitching staff. During this series, I watch a lot of Mets games. They were talking about what they can do for the bat, and I think it was Keith Hernandez mentioned he's like maybe he does need to just get the swing back. You go down for a couple weeks. How do you handle that when there's one side of the game that he's doing so well, and another side that he's just not hitting the potential yet? I know lately maybe, the classic pitch him in, get him to chase low and away. Where do you think he's at? And would you ever consider that? Or would you rather see him swing out of it in the big leagues?
Yeah, and that's our job. As a manager, as a coaching staff, we take that personal, because it's part of the development. You continue to teach these guys, not only the younger players, but in general, big league players want to continue to be coached and want to continue to develop. And in this case with Alvi, he's a young player that is going through it right now. And the good thing is that he works extremely hard. He's very positive. And I feel like he's getting better. The result hasn't been there yet, but I feel like his takes, his swing decisions, the conviction on his swings, he's getting there. He's very talented. I mean, look, this is a guy that, I'm not trying to make excuses for him, but he missed the whole spring training with the injury, and then it's a tricky one. Those hamate injury, as a catcher, the receiving hand, and he in the offseason he worked in his swing, and I feel like he's still trying to get the feel for it where he's at as a hitter. But again, I feel like the past few games he's getting to a better position. You could see some conviction on the swing, and we got to continue to help him. Too good of a player. There's a lot of upside there, and he's a big part of this team moving forward.
I have a couple quick hitters for you. What's your favorite food to eat?
Oof. I'm a steak guy. I'm a steak guy,
Okay.
but also the Italian. I crush Italian, So
Okay. Hey, that's
yeah.
guy. I love that. I love every second. Is there a show that you watch right now, or that show you've seen that's your favorite show right now that you love watching?
I'm not. I'm all baseball, Todd. I'm like,
Okay.
and then
All
when
right.
I'm not at the ballpark, I'm with my two boys. My wife. I'm not and that's something that my wife keeps telling us. Like, let's go watch a movie, or let's watch. I'm like, I'm either watching a baseball game. And I know I got to get better at that.
Okay. All right. No, I was curious. I want to get to know you a little bit. That's great. Baseball all the time. That's awesome stuff. Yeah. When I was
Baseball and
going to
family.
hey, that was my last question. What do you do during an off day? Is there's something you love doing, or you just hanging with the fam?
Hanging out with the families. We usually pick a spot to have a dinner. Sometimes we go to the ballpark. I take the boys and we go hit in the cages. We fill ground balls. But like I said, it's more family off days. They don't come too often. You're just trying to take advantage, get your mind out of it a little bit as much as you can. But then here I am on an off day watching whoever's on TV, whatever game it is, and then I got my boys and my wife telling me like, get your mind out of it.
What's the biggest things that's changed? You went from not a big league manager, besides your greased palo, besides your gray hair. What's the biggest thing that's changed? Sorry, yeah, I see you. I see you put a little color in there, but
Losing it too.
losing it too. What? Hey, I know about that. But what's the biggest thing that's changed for you as a person since you become a manager of not only a playoff team, now a team that last year at this time you guys were like pressing to try to get there the whole way to the end of the season, and then you made it. Now you're the manager of a team that's best record in the National League.
What's changed? That's a good question, Kratzy, because I feel like I'm trying to be the same guy, trying to be consistent. Whether it was last year, before I became the manager. That's one of the things that I take pride, just being consistent with your personality, whether you don't get too high, don't get too low. So just being myself, trying to get the best out of the people that you work with. But I don't know, that's a good one there, because like I said, I try to every day I treat it like, all right, what can I do today to help players or coaches, or how can we get better as an organization? And as far as like what's different, I don't know. That's a good question.
All right, so I'm going to give you the last one and steer us right back to the thing that we love here. Okay, you're all baseball, so I'm curious, because I think last time we had you on, the story hadn't come out yet. Did you know about how the strike zone was being evaluated a little bit differently, and how much of that goes into game planning? We've asked some players, some coaches about it. Logan O'Hoppe, for example, was like, I couldn't figure it out. The Angels catcher, the first few weeks, he's like, some of the calls were a little off. Not that they were wrong. He's just like, they weren't what they used to be. So what was your experience? Did you know about it going into the season? And once you did find out about it, whatever it was, 5 weeks in, is there anything that the coaching staff did differently?
No, I didn't know going into it, to be honest with you. But we started noticing that, man, these guys are not calling strikes as the way they used to. The strike zone seems to be smaller, especially the catching guys, when they're going over the next day and reviewing the game and all that. It's like, man, a lot of pitches they were close, that they were called balls. And sure enough, when the news came out, we weren't surprised by it. We knew something was up. But as far as like adjusting game plan and all that, no. Every team, going into a game, who's behind the plate and where he likes to call. But that doesn't affect the way you put together a game plan or how you're going to attack a certain lineups. But we saw it at the beginning of the year without knowing anything about it, and then when the news came out, we weren't surprised by it.
Hey everybody, be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.